The following morning was warm and sunny, but instead of waking to the sound of birds singing cheerfully and dragonflies fluttering dreamily, the two otter families were startled awake by the familiar voice of Beanie Brown from outside the den.
"Something terrible has happened!" she cried.
There was a sudden surge of activity as dozens of panicking otters raced out of their chambers, through the tunnels, and out onto the mooring pad, where they found Beanie gazing into the tranquil water.
"What's wrong, my darling?"
gasped Mamma Brown.
"Yes, tell us, my dear,"
added Grandma Maple. Woody Brown knew his shy sister could become even more unconfident when put on the spot, so he stepped alongside Beanie and held her paw.
"What is it?"
he whispered. Beanie frowned at Woody and then pointed to the water. The assembled otters moved closer to the edge of the mooring pad and peered into the river, expecting to see something terrifying like a crocodile or an alligator. What they saw was absolutely nothing.
"There's nothing there, sis,"
whispered Woody.
"I know,"
said Beanie, sniffing and wiping her shiny black nose with a paw. Woody Brown looked into the river again and considered why Beanie might be up before everyone else and what could possibly make her scream in terror, and then gasped when he eventually worked it out.
"The fish have all gone," he said.
"Fish don't just vanish overnight,"
said Grandma Maple, dipping her tail in the water and swishing it from side to side in the hope of drawing a few nibbles to the surface.
"They must be just hiding."
As the main providers of food for both families, Papa Brown and Papa Black dived into the river. They darted about deep underwater, stirring up clouds of bubbles intended to scare up any fish that might be lurking at the bottom, but there was nothing except riverweed, rocks, and old empty shells. Mamma Brown clutched the paws of Mamma Black as their husbands returned to the surface and shook their heads gravely. The rest of the otters appeared baffled by the mystery, with the exception of Grandpa Bruno, whose eyes widened as he understood what had happened.
"Beavers!"
growled the old otter.
"Beavers!"
agreed Grandpa Jack.
"How could beavers steal all of our fish?"
asked Woody.
"They don't steal them,"
said Grandpa Bruno.
"They stop them."
The old brown otter jumped into the water and swam to the middle of the river where he could see past the bend.
"They've built a dam right across, just a short way upstream," he yelled. "All of our fish have carried on swimming downstream, and no new ones can get through."
"They've blocked the flow of the river,"
gasped Grandma Maple. The black and brown otters all dived into the water and swam out to Grandpa Bruno and saw for themselves that the dam was huge. There was an enormous felled tree, its trunk stripped, stretching from one bank to the other. Along its length, the trunk was piled high with branches and logs, all packed tightly together with mud and grass. There was also the bristly roof of a lodge on the riverbank that had to be the beavers' home.
"Everyone back to Cottonwood Lodge,"
growled Grandpa Bruno, snorting through his nostrils.
"I'm going to have a polite word with our new neighbours."
"I'll come too,"
added Grandpa Jack. The old black otter knew only too well how hot-headed Bruno could be and wanted to keep an eye on him.
"You're not going without us,"
said Papa Black and Papa Brown.
"Be careful, all of you,"
warned Grandma Maple, looking fretful.
"I don't want any trouble."
Mamma Black and Mamma Brown made their husbands promise to be safe and to look after the old boxers, whose advancing years had done nothing to quell their fighting spirit. Then the two wives hugged and rubbed noses with their husbands, waved them off, and herded the young otters back to the lodge. Along the way, the mother otters answered questions about beavers from Cole and Beanie, calmed fears of fish oil shortages from Coco and Berry, and told the two sets of twins to stop squabbling. All the while